Good evening, I'm London Jen and this is Battle Rap World. As you can see, we've got a change of scenery. I am on the sofa. I'm in my boots. I'm drinking privilege from the bottle. I'm with the shits today. We've got some stuff to talk about, and this week the only thing I want to talk about is professionalism. I want to talk about professionalism in battle rap and battle rap media and just battle rap generally. Now, I touched on it a little bit in my Ultimate Madness semi-final recap. Obviously, we had the chokes from Ace Amin, from Swamp. We didn't have a choke from Swamp. We had an awesome performance from Swamp. We had an awful choke from Twerk. A jersey out of the first two, and a shoddy, what we would call over here in the UK, a shoddy performance in the third from someone who is supposed to be at the forefront of the URL caffeine push. So I touched on that on the Ultimate Madness recap. I touched on the fact as well that, as well as, you know, unprofessional performances from Twerk and Ace Amin, the URL have to bear some responsibility in putting those battlers who have history of choking, of poor performances, of not delivering what they're capable of in such prominent positions. They have to take some responsibility in fucking that bag up too. It wasn't just, you know, it's not as though this is the first time Twerk has come on a league, a URL league, even on caffeine. This is not the first time he's come and not delivered. So, you know, that's a risk that they were willing to take, and it didn't pay off. So they have to take responsibility in that. I'm not prepared to just completely put it on the battlers, because the league didn't go into this blind. And yeah, professionalism all round. You know, I'm hoping we've seen the we saw Smack going on the primetime show on caffeine, or I hope you did. I hope you're watching those URL primetime shows post event on caffeine, because really, you know, the battlers going at each other. The league sort of often drop real behind the scenes stuff, or up and coming, you know, they drop exclusive information there. So you really need to be checking out prime time on caffeine. Even in London, like my London people, is about 1 a.m, but try and stay up if you can. And it's definitely worth a watch, because they're with the shits over there. It's live, and it's unfiltered, and it's as it's happening. It's something. It's really something to watch. And yeah, Smack on last week's, this week's, I don't know what day it is, who knows. The last one, after the Ultimate Madness semi-finals, Smack went on there and just said, "I'm not paying you fuckers." He just said, "You choke, that's it. You're not getting paid." Now, it sounds great, and I hope, you know, I really hope that something will come of this, because especially with the caffeine platform, that's something that is bigger than these battlers. Again, said this in my recap. This is not just about an individual battle. It's not about an individual event. This is about something that is, you know, trying to take battle rap to a larger platform, to a larger audience. You can say it's mainstreaming, whatever. You know, they don't have to. They've shown that the content doesn't need to be toned down, as long as the quality is there. Smack made the apology at the end of last week's episode, after he was dragged on at the end of the Twerk and Swamp battle, and he apologised and said, you know, we don't condone this type of behaviour. And I'm sure he wasn't necessarily talking about the scuffles that happened on stage. He wasn't even talking about the alleged pull-ups behind the scenes that happened, and the alleged whatever was brought, and words which were I don't even think he was talking about that. I think he was literally talking about the shitty performances. You know, he felt so bad that he just had to go up there and apologize for something, because that was a terrible event. And, you know, whilst you may have battles on a card that are letdowns, the URL knows how to put on a good event, and that was a letdown. And apparently, it was the biggest audience. I don't know if it was just of a caffeine event so far or of the Ultimate Madness events, but either way, it was a big audience, and a lot of people saw that, and that's embarrassing. Um, as a battle rap fan, knowing that there's a lot of people who don't watch battle rap generally who watch that, you know, I'm embarrassed. So, you know, fuck knows what poor Swamp, what poor fuck knows what poor Smack felt going up there and having to wrap up the debacle of a show that was the semi-finals. So Smack went on there and said, basically, you know, I'm not paying you motherfuckers. And a lot of, I think Jay Black, who else was it? Caps Angry Fan, had talked about, maybe some other bloggers, I don't know, I haven't seen, have talked about maybe paying per round or paying per minute, so that if you do choke, you're encouraged to get it back and to finish your material. And I think those are really valid suggestions. And I think both of those also as well said, and this is where I fall ultimately, how about just not booking battlers who have form for this? You know, everyone is liable to a choke. Everyone, you know, any battler up there, I'm sure it's their biggest anxiety, no matter how prepared, no matter how consistent a battler you are, your biggest anxiety is going up there and forgetting your material, because we're human and not robots. Even the most consistent of battlers is able to go up there and blank out. So that might not be, you know, the fairest, but when you are a battler who consistently goes up there and doesn't perform, you just shouldn't get booked. It's such a big field now. There are so many battlers who are chomping at the bit, so many up and cut. Like, look at what Swamp did, look at what he talked himself into, look at the performances he's had so far on a URL stage. These are undeniable, and he hasn't fucked up. Why isn't he being more heavily promoted? Yes, we have these big names, but these big names are big names, yes, because they're good, but also because we build them up, and it's a symbiotic thing. It's you can't just be good and no one talks about you. You've got to be good and people talk about you. And the more somebody is showcased and platformed, the more there is likely to be a buzz around them. So it's, you know, it's a two-handed thing. So if you're promoting the guys who are lesser known but are dope, are you know, coming battle after battle and delivering and, you know, really putting on a performance for the fans, we're gonna lap that shit up, and we're gonna promote them, and they will then sell tickets just like your big draws sell tickets. Obviously charisma and personality plays a big part in it as well. It's not as though any battle rapper who can go and, you know, spit 3 rounds of good material is necessarily going to be a draw. Some battle rappers are just very charismatic and you want to see them regardless, but we don't want to be let down. So yeah, wrapping that up, professionalism.